YouTube, and welcome back to my channel again. You may have seen in the past I have done a review on Battlefront 2, the Star Wars game. Today we are going to be doing it on Insomniac's Spider-Man 2, the third installment of the Spider-Man series. Before I go any further, and I urge you to do this, it's very much free, I promise. All you need to do is subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment. Oh, and turn notifications on as well so you can get all my uploads sent straight to you. It's all completely free. I do all the stuff. You just need to, you know, sit there and enjoy. You don't need to. You can do what you may well like. Anyway, enough chatting, enough waffle. I'm gonna go over the basics of the game. Um, you know, the pros, the cons, how the map is, how the skins are, how the characters are like, all that good stuff. And then I'm going to come to a conclusion. Now, the good thing about this is that this is not going to a project this time. This is going straight on my YouTube channel. So, another thing I want to ask is leave a comment on what you would like me to do next on this channel, and I will take it into consideration whether I can do it or will do it. But anyway, love you guys and enjoy. Just before I get into this video, actually, spoiler alert right now, because I'm not going to warn you again, this will contain spoilers if you have not played the game. So if you haven't, please click off the video if you need to. I do not mind. The first thing I want to go over is the graphics of the game. This part is where I talk about basically the skins, the sort of element within the map, the color texture, just everything like that. But yeah, graphics. No, they did patch it, so we won't have to worry about that, and we're not going to discuss it because there were some some flaws from that patch that did happen in terms of, you know, characters were looking a bit, you know, like blocks. They looked a bit papery, and when you'd go selecting a skin, it would turn them into a white box. However, they did go back and redo this, and they've done well. They've fixed all the bugs that were happening, and the graphics, in my opinion, are 100% amazing. Did you get it? Because, Amazing Spider-Man. I want to die. Anyway, graphics. I will say one thing. In terms of the suits that they released in this game, wow. They made them look spectacular. And they put a lot of effort and design within these suits to make it realistic to the comics, realistic to live action, and I appreciate that very much. In terms of making everything else look realistic, they've done very well there. Including the bosses, different face designs, whereas in the first Spider-Man, it did feel like a bit of a, how would you call it? A bit rushed, I'd say. I do think the first game was brilliant. However, the graphics they did improve on in Spider-Man remastered. However, with this new game, they did improve the graphics by a mile. Um, what I mean is, it sets sort of a feel for the game. If the game hasn't got good graphics nowadays, you've got a bit of an issue. However, this game doesn't have that issue, especially with a new engine being the PS5, PlayStation 5, um, which is the only console that can be streamed. Well, I say streamed on, played on, but yeah, put that into consideration, and it just looks amazing. I'd say the landscape of the water where we could go into in Spider-Man, the first one, looks insane. Um, yeah, they've there's not much to really say about it. Graphically, they have hit out the park. Obviously, it's not perfect because I don't know a lot of games that are perfect within graphics. However, with this, they've done very well. Um, Going back to the suits, actually, there's a graphic in which I 100% love about it, and it's the rip design when you're in fight. That's what's made the graphics within the suits one of the best I have seen ever. Now I know other games have potentially done it. However, being a Spider-Man is the only one I've seen do it. It's insane. And honestly, if I was to rate the graphics, I would give it a 9 out of 10. Maybe a bit biased, considering, but yeah, the graphics within the game are amazing. Um, the thing is with me, I only pay attention to like the little stuff in graphics. I'm not full on tech graphics person, if that makes sense. So I tend to look out for the little bits like reflections, color, the setting, stuff like that. But yeah, there's not much really bad to say about it. Obviously, when the game first came out, it was a bit jittery. However, it was solved, and yeah, I would not be surprised if it won an award for its graphics. But yeah, moving on to gameplay. Now, how I like to see gameplay is what's the story like? What are the missions like? How are the boss fights? How are just how it runs really? I know it comes under graphics and story a little bit, but yeah, I'm gonna go off my version of how I would like to see gameplay. Now, obviously it's a story-based game with its open world sort of um, spin on it, and I can personally say that if it wasn't for um, Insomniac releasing these Spider-Man games, I don't think I would have liked story modes as much as I do now. Spider-Man 2 successfully released a very good story gameplay within all time. Personally, the boss fights were intense, but they were fun. The story was brilliant. I'll get into story a little bit later, not later, but soon. Um, but in terms of its swinging ability, perfect. The traversal system was brilliant this time. You know, having skills and gadgets be really, really good, and them being like really useful in situations. Well, the reason the gameplay for this game is really enjoyable for me. I know I'm not making much sense, but just bear with me. I'm doing my best. um, but yes, the gameplay for me just was insane. I like how you could switch between both characters. You know, having two protagonists within one game, sort of three actually, if we're gonna go with MJ as well, was amazing. Obviously, I think there's 5 different people you play as. So obviously you play as Peter, Miles, MJ, Haley for like a minute or so, and Venom, which to me is brilliant. Um, it's always good to have more than one protagonist that you play within a game, and I can appreciate that. Another thing I want to point out is the missions were one of the best set of missions I think I've ever played. I cannot tell you one proper bad mission that I played on that game. Honest to God, I can't think of one. Even taking photos was just sort of average, but it wasn't bad. So yeah, if you've done it well on your missions, you've done well on your gameplay. Which will now lead me on to my next point, being replay value. Now, obviously with story games, the replay value can be somewhat torn both ways. Obviously, because it's a new game, there's not much to really play for at the moment. DLCs haven't come out. There's no new game plus like there was in the other Spider-Man game. However, I would still play this story 10 times over. I haven't, yes. However, I would play it 10 times over because it just did so well. There's not much to say about it. I can't think of anything sort of negative to do with this game. In terms of how they've done it, it's amazing story. You know, the little Easter eggs, the plot twists, just everything about it. It makes you want to play it again and again and again. And honestly, I have played it again. This is why the first time I played it, I didn't record it. But then I thought, it'd be stupid for me not to record it on my channel. And look how well it's done. My first ever video got onto YouTube recommended, and it did very well. So, for if it wasn't a good game and it didn't do well, it wouldn't be replayable. However, it is. I wouldn't go back, let's give me an example of a game. I wouldn't go back to Skyrim and play it again. Um, I have Fallout because obviously that game, yeah, insane. That franchise is just outstanding to me. However, in terms of story game modes, I don't go back and replay it every single time. It's like I won't go back to playing, I don't know, Assassin's Creed Origins or Assassin's Creed Valhalla or the first Assassin's Creed. I won't play it over and over again. As good as the games were, I won't go play it over and over again. However, with Spider-Man, I can. And I can't put my finger on it why that is so much better for me than those games that I've just mentioned. I don't know if it's because I'm a Marvel fan or just because it's just an enjoyable game and it doesn't bore me and it's not too long but it's not too short. You know what I mean? Yeah, replay value. I would 100% replay it over and over again. Now we're gonna go on to our next part, which is story. Right. So I see this as two ways. The first Spider-Man game, the story was amazing, and obviously it's set for the next game being we're gonna get Venom, obviously. Harry's coming back, obviously. You know that stuff. And they also added the fact that Yuri's gonna be in it, being Rafe, you know, whatnot. Um, yeah, this game I wasn't expecting the story to have done as well, but they've done stupidly well. And honestly, I can give it Game of the Year if I could. This game's story leads nicely straight on from the first game slash Miles Morales. And when a game can do that well, you know you're in for a good game. The story is about. People tell me it's about 15 hours long, but that's if you're playing it continuously. I would push to say if you take your time, you don't rush through it, you're getting a good 20 plus hours out of it. 100%. Um, the story was amazing. Honestly, I can't say much about it. It was amazing. Um, it focused more on the fact that, you know, Harry has a big role in this. You know, spoilers by the way. Being Venom. Um, it also showed more of Miles becoming stronger, and it focused on Peter becoming, you know, more serious in his role, which I can appreciate and get behind because I love a serious character. I also like its goofiness. But yeah, they did do a lot with MJ as well. They focused a lot with her and focused on how much Peter sort of needs her, and that's a good thing because in the last game she wasn't as, you know, she was the back of everyone's mind. She was in the back of my mind. I'm not gonna lie. First person I thought about when it came to that game was Peter. No one else, just Peter, as he was the main focus. But I'm glad that this game expands on that, makes everyone involved, including Haley, you know, Harry, Norman in a way, even though he wasn't as big in this game, but he will be in the next game. I can 100% guarantee it. But yeah, I just like how everyone just was more involved in this story. Um, Craven was a very big part. He was designed and, you know, shown very well, and his story was amazing. And I could not fault Insomniac for doing this well with Craven. I think they did brilliantly. Um, and yeah, in terms of plot twists, they've done well with that as well, including the final cutscene. But yeah, story, I'll have to give it, honestly, a 9.5 out of 10. The fact you get to play as Venom as well. Do I need to say more? The story was fantastic. Would I put it as being better than the first game? Yes. Very close, but yes. Would I be putting it better than Miles Morales? Honestly, yes. Miles Morales did very well with its story. Personally, it's an underrated opinion. However, I thought it to be a good story. but Spider-Man 2 did so well in making a good story and deploying its characters and giving them different sort of emotions, characteristics, stuff like that. And as long as the story is good, you've made a good game. So yeah. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for, my opinion on the game. Obviously, I've gone over my opinion on the graphics, the gameplay, replay value, and the story. However, what's all that without my personal opinion on the game? You know, what I think could be improved, what I think was amazing, how I would rate it in terms of games I've played. Um, Honestly, like I've said, if it wasn't for the fact that this game, well, I say this game, this series of games didn't come out, I wouldn't be as heavily invested in stories and Spider-Man himself. This game has made me realise how good of a game developer Insomniac is. I think the character behind Spider-Man, Yuri, amazing. The person who played Miles, I cannot remember his name, I'm so sorry, but he did so good. And Tony Todd, wow, he did that role for Venom so well. But my honest opinion on the game, first let's go off what it could be improved. I think the game could be a tad bit longer. It wasn't short, don't get me wrong. I think they could have expanded a bit more. I'm hoping we get some new DLCs, you know, some new villains to work off, you know, judging by what we see in the game anyway, with Carnage sort of being confirmed and Chameleon. But yeah, I'm hoping the DLCs do come swinging. Another thing for me is Black Cat's sort of a big character within this game, and I felt like she was underused a little bit. That's just my opinion. I think she's a brilliant character and could have been included a bit longer. But hey, not a bad, you know, opinion, I guess, and it's not a bad point. I just think things in this game could be a bit longer and could have lasted a bit longer. Apart from that, I've got nothing else to say bad about this game. They could have been more inventive with the suits, actually. This is something I discussed with a very good friend of mine, or I class him as a brother anyway. Um, we discussed how the suits could have been a lot better. Obviously, they had the suits from the live actions and, you know, the last game. I think in terms of creating new suits, they could have done better. However, I feel like the suits do look great in this. Sort of. Go check my previous video. It will tell you all about how I feel about the suits and everything else in my own way. You know, everyone likes to go into detail about everything. However, I'm not very good at that, so you're gonna get what you get. Anyway, how would I rate the game? 9.5 out of 10. By far one of the most intense, enjoyable, interesting, and spectacular story game based modes I think I've ever played in my life. Honest to God. Um, I've played a few. I'd say a few. I've played quite a lot. Um, Normally I'm not as invested. Some of them I am, some of them I'm not. This game does everything right for me. And honestly, I would love to hear your opinion in the comments. But yeah, that's my review on the Spider-Man 2 Insomniac game. Obviously, it's a bit of a short review, because honestly, there's not much to say about it. It's just well, it's near to perfect, personally for me. I'm not a very good talker either, so doing this was kind of hard. I had to do a couple of takes for this, but yes. I do hope you've enjoyed this video, and I want to know your opinions in the comments. I'll reply back to them, stuff like that. If you haven't already, like I mentioned at the start, go subscribe, like this video, share it around, show the love. We are on the way to 1,000 subs. It's gonna take a while, however we will get there in due time. Anyway, thank you for tuning into this review. It has been your boy, Tilly to the Top Master. And yeah, have a very good day. And take care. I shall see you very soon. Can't confirm when, but you'll see me very soon. But before I go, actually, I want to properly say thank you to you guys for showing support on this channel. I know you don't really check out the lives when I upload them. However, you check them out afterwards and they do so well. Honestly, I get such good views within 24 hours of them being uploaded that I can't thank you guys enough. I mean, we're nearly on 700 subscribers, for God's sake. I started 3 weeks ago, and look how this channel has grown from 60 subs to 600 plus subs. I'm in shock, and that's all down to you guys. And yeah, I don't think I'd be back here and doing this if it wasn't for you. And yeah, I'm not good at this. I'm really not good at like speeches and stuff. I'm not good at publicly speaking. However, I do thank you all a lot for the support that you've given me in the past month. And here's to many more great videos to come. Have a very good day, and goodbye.